I'm here today to talk to you about slavery. Slavery was horrible. It was a terrible institution that was legal here in the United States and other countries in the world. But I, as a person of color who's had people in my family who were slaves, I know they were. I've thought about it. It's painful. It's the harsh reality. It's really difficult for me to do this lesson with you guys, but I have to share this with you. I want to tell you some of the stories that I heard and I read about that slaves actually stated in their own words about what it was like to be a slave. We're going to look at a book. It's called To Be a Slave by Julius Lester. And some of the stories are very, very difficult to hear and to read about. But they're important for us to all know what the impact of slavery had on you, on me, on all of us here who live in this world. Because even if you weren't a slave, I believe that the institution of slavery affected us all. Right? We're going to begin today by looking at this book by Julius Lester. It's called To Be a Slave. I have a copy right here. All of you guys should have a copy of the book. The librarian has made sure that you had a copy so that you can follow along or read ahead if you want to about what slaves, actual slaves or ex-slaves had to say about their lives and what they felt. Okay? We're going to focus today on one particular area of slavery. The area we're going to focus on has to do with capture, because these people did not start out being slaves. These people were free. They were living their lives just like you and I. They were free to do pretty much what they wanted, I guess, within their own communities. But one day, for all of them that were captured, something changed, that particular capture. They were no longer free to go and live their lives and do what they wanted to do. Okay? Fortunately for you and I, there's a way that we can know what these slaves or ex-slaves felt. There are narratives, there were stories that were told by ex-slaves, because I don't know if you're aware, but slaves were not allowed to be taught to read and write. I'm sure there was some that did, but it was against the law to teach them to read and write. So when these ex-slaves became free, people in the world decided we need to hear their stories. And so they went to where the slaves were living, and they listened and they wrote and they recorded what the slaves said about their lives. Julius Lester did a lot of research. He went and he looked and he found information about what these slaves said about their existence, and he put them together in this collection of books. And today we're going to focus on the actual capture. I want to read to you a segment that was told to an ex-slave by his grandmother. She was captured, okay? And the way she was captured, it's a little odd to me. I always picture being captured as being something where, you're going against your will. But this doesn't seem like the people actually were captured against their will. It seems a little different. I want you to hear what I have to say, and I want you to listen. And you tell me when I'm finished if you think that these people were taken against their will. All right, here we go. Let me take off my glasses because I have a hard time seeing close up with my glasses on. All right, here it goes. Granny Judith said that in Africa they had very few pretty things, and that they had no red colors in cloth. In fact, they had no cloth at all. Some strangers with pale faces come one day and dropped a small piece of red flannel down on the ground. All the black folks grabbed for it. Then a larger piece was dropped a little further on until the river was reached. Then a large piece was dropped in the river and on the other side. They was led on, each one trying to get a piece as it was dropped. Finally, when the ship was reached, they dropped large pieces on the plank and up into the ship till they got as many blacks on board as they wanted. Then the gate was chained up and they could not get back. That is the way Granny Judy said they got her to America. Now, when you hear this, does that make you think that she wanted to go to America? Did she go willingly? Was this her idea? What was she and the others thinking as they were grabbing at this red cloth? I want you to think about it. I want you to talk amongst yourselves, in groups. Talk amongst yourselves and try to figure out the reasoning. What was the red cloth a way that these slaves, or these Africans, because they weren't slaves then, Africans were captured? And what do you think they thought about this red cloth after they were on board? I want you to take your time, think about it, talk amongst yourselves. You have your vocabulary sheet, and you can write any words on that vocabulary sheet that you don't know that might help you understand what it is the story is about. Have your partners talk to you about the vocabulary if they can help you. If not, you can use a dictionary. Once you have established what these words mean, because it's important to understand the words, what they mean, I want you to write a sentence also. So any words that you don't understand, I want you to put on that vocabulary sheet. You also have, of course, the visual images that will help you to see kind of what the words are saying. Okay, I gave you some pictures. Remember, everyone should have one of these. And it has a picture of the west coast of Africa and the slaves being chained and marched to, I guess, you guess, I don't know, you tell me. And also the bottom shows a picture of what a slave ship looked like. So I want you to think about what happened with these people, what happened next with these people who are on the ship that came on the ship because of the red cloth. Right? Once you've done that, there's a section on your graphic organizer that asks the question, how were decisions made by Africans influential in their capture by slave traders? Okay, how were they influential? I want to know. You try to tell me, you try to figure out from what you heard, go back, look at the words again, read them again, talk to yourselves, amongst yourselves, and figure out what exactly happened. Write it in this section. And in the next section, what did you learn? What should they have learned from what happened? And what would you have done? At the end of the at the end of the class period, okay, you're going to spend a little time, you're going to write a paragraph describing what you think life was like for the captured slaves, what the experience was like. Okay, let's see if we can get this done.